Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm really excited you're here and I'm thrilled to bring you my very first video. Thank you for tuning in and I can't wait to share this journey with you. So today, we're diving into an important and powerful story, the story of Matthew Shepard. If you're unfamiliar with it, Matthew Shepard's story is one that shook the nation and continues to influence conversations around LGBTQ rights, hate crimes, and acceptance to this day. Wyoming is a land of vast skies, rugged mountains, and sweeping plains, a place that holds beauty and solitude in equal measure. Known for its quiet nature, Wyoming is also a place where close-knit communities thrive under the open sky. But on a bitterly cold October night in 1998, the small town of Laramie became the backdrop for a tragedy that shook the world. It's a story that began with unthinkable hate and transformed into a powerful force for love, acceptance, and change. This is the story of Matthew Shepard, a young man whose dreams and hopes were cruelly taken from him, yet whose legacy became a call to action that reverberates to this day. Matthew Wayne Shepard was born on December 1, 1976, in Casper, Wyoming, a small city near the Rocky Mountains. He was the first child of Judy and Dennis Shepard, a couple who cherished him dearly. Matthew's early years were filled with family, friends, and the joys of small-town life. His younger brother, Logan, completed their family, and from an early age, Matthew was known for his kindness, his compassion, and his ability to make people feel seen and heard. Those who knew Matthew remember him as gentle yet spirited, a young man who, despite his small stature, possessed a heart and a spirit that were as vast as the Wyoming landscape. Growing up, Matthew was someone who felt deeply. He was known for his empathy and his natural inclination to care about the lives of others. He enjoyed being around people, listening to them, and offering comfort when needed. He was an avid reader, loved theater, and often sought ways to make the world a better place. In his teenage years, Matthew came to understand that he was gay, a realization he accepted with courage. Yet, growing up in the 1980s and 1990s, in an environment that could often be unkind to LGBTQ individuals, he faced moments of isolation and hardship. Still, he carried himself with quiet strength, dreaming of a future where he could contribute to a world that embraced equality, justice, and compassion for all. In 1998, Matthew moved to Laramie to study at the University of Wyoming, choosing to focus on political science with an emphasis on international relations. At just 21 years old, he was filled with ambition and the desire to make a difference. He saw a future where he could advocate for human rights and help create a more understanding and inclusive world. Those close to him knew that Matthew was driven by a sense of purpose. He believed in using his voice and his experiences to uplift others, envisioning a society where all people could live openly and safely, free from fear. But the night of October 6, 1998, changed everything. Matthew went to the Fireside Lounge, a bar in downtown Laramie, looking to unwind and meet new people. It was there that he crossed paths with Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson, two men who harbored dark intentions. They approached Matthew and offered him a ride, and Matthew, ever trusting and kind-hearted, accepted, believing they were being friendly. Tragically, their true intentions were far from friendly. As they drove, McKinney and Henderson revealed their hatred in a brutal and devastating way. They took Matthew to a remote area on the outskirts of town, where they tied him to a wooden fence, savagely beating him with the butt of a pistol. They inflicted unimaginable cruelty, attacking him solely because he was gay. They left him there, tied to the fence, alone in the freezing Wyoming night, struggling for life. Matthew remained in that desolate place for nearly 18 hours. His lifeless appearance and the way he was tied to the fence led a passing cyclist, who discovered him, to mistake him at first for a scarecrow. Matthew was rushed to Powder Valley Hospital in Fort Collins, Colorado, but his injuries were severe and his brainstem, the part of the brain that controls basic functions, had suffered irreparable damage. His parents, Judy and Dennis, were devastated when they received the call. They traveled immediately to be with their son, finding him unconscious but surrounded by medical staff doing all they could to keep him alive. For several agonizing days, Judy and Dennis stayed by his side, holding his hand, speaking to him, and letting him know he was loved. But on October 12, 1998, Matthew succumbed to his injuries. He was just 21 years old. News of Matthew's death spread rapidly, sending shockwaves of grief and anger across the nation and around the world. Vigils were held in his honor in cities across the United States and beyond. People mourned not only for Matthew but for every LGBTQ plus individual who had ever faced violence, discrimination, and hatred. His story became a powerful reminder of the hatred faced by those in the LGBTQ community and awakened a collective demand for justice, dignity, and the right to live without fear. The horrifying details of Matthew's attack, coupled with his parents' resilience, led to a national outcry for stronger protections against hate crimes. His death underscored the urgent need for laws that would protect individuals targeted based on sexual orientation, gender identity, race, and other factors. After years of advocacy, the U.S. Congress passed the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act in 2009. Named in honor of both Matthew and James Byrd Jr., a black man who was murdered in a racially motivated hate crime, the legislation expanded federal hate crime laws, delivering a powerful message that hate-based violence would not be tolerated. In the years following Matthew's death, Judy and Dennis Shepard transformed their grief into a mission. They established the Matthew Shepard Foundation, dedicating themselves to erasing hate, supporting LGBTQ youth, and educating communities on the importance of acceptance. Through their work, they have reached schools, workplaces, and communities, sharing Matthew's story and advocating for a world where love and understanding can triumph over hatred and fear. The Foundation's work centers on preventing tragedies like Matthew's and supporting those who feel isolated or unsafe simply because of who they are. Judy Shepard often speaks of Matthew's story as one that is not only about him, but about every person who has faced hatred for being themselves. She reminds us that his story is a call to action, a reminder that each of us has the power to stand up, to speak out, and to build a world where love and acceptance replace fear and prejudice. Today, the site where Matthew was found, once a lonely and haunting place, has become a symbol of resilience and remembrance. People visit it to reflect on his life and to honor his legacy. His story is a reminder that even in the face of unthinkable cruelty, there is a way forward through compassion, advocacy, and the unyielding pursuit of justice. Matthew Shepard's life was tragically cut short, but his legacy endures. It is a legacy that calls on us to be better, to choose empathy, understanding, and respect. Through his story, we are reminded of the immense power each of us has to make a difference, to stand against hate, and to foster a world where everyone can live without fear. Matthew's memory is a challenge to all of us to build a world where love is stronger than hate, and where every person is free to be who they are. If Matthew's story has touched you, consider supporting the Matthew Shepard Foundation or other LGBTQ+ organizations working tirelessly to promote acceptance, prevent hate crimes, and create safe spaces for all. Together, we can honor Matthew's life by continuing his legacy of love, understanding, and respect. Thank you again for joining me on my first video. If you find this content meaningful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. Feel free to comment below with any thoughts or reflections. I'd love to hear from you. Let's keep this conversation going.